All right, hello and welcome to this video that is GH Talk. I am not able to do live streams anymore. For some reason, YouTube says that my channel is not eligible to do mobile live streams anymore. I'll have to use like my webcam or something on my laptop, and I do not have that to do. So I'm going to do a video on my phone while on my lunch break, and I'll upload it right after, okay? Because this is for Monday and Tuesday's episode. Wednesday's episode has yet to air today, which I'm gonna watch tonight when I get home on Hulu. But I hope you all are doing great, having a fabulous day. I am doing fabulous. All right, so let's get into it. So first of all, as we all have seen, Drew Kane is alive. This is no surprise, as we knew that Cameron Matheson would be taking over the role. It's just, I keep looking at him and seeing Ryan Lavery at this point. It's going to take some time for me to really start seeing him as Drew, and it has nothing to do with Billy Miller's portrayal of the role, because unfortunately he wasn't really able to get into the role. He was switched into what? He was Jake Doe, then he was Jason Morgan, then he was Drew Kane, and so he never really got to fill out the roles. So I think it's great that Cameron is taking over, because it's really going to be his excuse me, lunch. But I think that the plot of him being held captive is so overdone. When I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking about Jason in the Russian clinic, although it is nothing like Jason's return, honey. It'll never be nothing like Jason's return. Or could it be? This is just the beginning stages. That nurse, Chloe, is that the one that Peter supposedly killed? I thought she was dead, but I think that's her. At least that's what it looked like to me. Okay, I'm ready to get on with the story. Get him out of captivity. Okay, please. Ugh. All right, so next up, Sam and Dante, since they are connected to this story, them as a couple, I'm still not seeing. I feel as though they make really good buddies. Dante is just too straight and narrow, and I really don't like Sam being all straight and narrow, but hey, they got kids, so y'all can continue to do your single parents club or whatever the hell y'all want to call it. Why did Leo act like he didn't know his big sister Sam? Why does Leo not like Sam? Like, why was he ignoring the hell out of her at the pool? But okay. Anyway, Sam and Dante went over to Anna and Valentine, who I really think should get together on a romantic tip, but they don't have to. Y'all could just be lovers and friends, because it never works out anyway when y'all get into a relationship. So, hopefully she comes through with those WSB files. Isn't Anna on the outs with the WSB? So how is she going to get them? Maybe Robert can help her out, one of her contacts, who knows? But yep, let's get that story rolling as far as that plane crash. All right, so Olivia Falconeri, you are a great mother, and you overreacted with that whole cut talking about, we got to take you to GH. It could be so deep that it needs stitches. Girl, oh my gosh. But anyway, she took him there, and Austin was overseeing his whole journey. And Austin now is very like, oh yeah, you need to bring him back to see me. I like to continue my follow-up. I don't like to stop if I started it, type thing. So we'll see how he plans to use Leo in all of this, unfortunately. All right, so that brings us to Austin and the Q's. I don't know if I've done a live stream since it was revealed that he is a Quartermain, but Jimmy Lee Holtz, when he said when he said Gatlin, I was like, Gatlin, but I knew the Holt. I was like, Jimmy Lee, what? You're his son? Like, what the heck is going on here? But I think that's really awesome way to introduce him on the canvas as a character that has history instead of just a nobody, who now works at the hospital, of course. And Brooklyn was all up in it the other day. And first of all, I was like, girl, you a hypocrite, because you know you've done some real ish, but you know she has gone through a lot to try to get the company back for the family by pretending to have this baby. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is holding up the family from getting the company or most of its shares back from Valentine, who currently sits as CEO, until this whole mess is sorted out with Austin getting his shares. So if the truth were to come out about Bailey not being Bailey, then Brooklyn loses her leverage. And of course, with Maxie back in town, who knows what's going to happen with that. But Austin got to Chase, as they both were a witness to Michael and Willow's affair. I was thinking that this was going to drag out so much longer. I was like, oh my gosh, because both Michael and Willow with their, oh, we want each other, but we feel so bad for having to lie to Chase. I'm like, just tell the truth. And then now with Chase knowing and him being able to walk, I was like, how long are you going to allow this to go on? But he was helping Austin out, and he got that letter of Edward's. So in yesterday's episode, I was so freaking thrilled that Willow came out. I got to give her props, because honey, you could have continued lying. You could have waited until it blew up in your face. It kind of did, just a teensy bit, but I got to give the girl just due. She told the truth. Both her and Michael, they were honest and upfront, and they were like, we want to be together. I want an annulment. My question is Chase just going to go ahead and allow them to have it, or is he just going to be a butthole? But I can appreciate Chase too, because he was like, hey, so that initial lie caused all of this. It hurts, but I understand. So at the end of the day, these are a group of very mature adults who have quite a bit of feelings going on, but they're like, I understand. Now, will Chase give Austin the letter? I want him to. Just go ahead and do it. Just be messy, sir, and give Austin that letter. Austin's going to get that letter. Somebody needs to get that letter, okay? Somebody will end up with it, but I hope that doesn't end the saga with Austin getting back, his claim to the family. So we'll see what Chase does in today's episode. I would do it. Do it. All right, so moving on from that. Wait, quick question. Why is Brooklyn still wearing these big suits as though she's pregnant? If it's my understanding, the actress, she was pregnant in real life, but she isn't. Maybe she feels comfortable in those clothing, but I was just noticing, I was like, during the pregnancy, I could understand Brooklyn's style change, but now that she no longer is, I miss Brooklyn's style that she had prior to her departure, and I would really love for her to get back to it. I was just wondering. I was like, she's still wearing these long suits. What's going on? So Britt and Terry. So lately, of course, Britt is still on the outs with the staff, which is completely understandable. She has to rebuild those relationships. And Terry is a very insightful person, and I can see that they're going to be friends. And Elizabeth, I was upset. I was like, look, what? When she came over there and asked Britt if she could have the time off. And Britt, to me, that was nothing petty about it. It was just, honey, look, I can't just sit there at the last minute. No, you got to work. You should have let somebody know beforehand. You didn't just, randomly plan this camping trip. Camping takes time. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. But she didn't know it was a camping trip. Anyway, she goes over there to Terry, but people be running game. They be like, oh, I know if I can't get it from this person, I'm going to go get it from that person. And she came over. She was like, I got it approved. And Britt's like, what? I was like, no, Terry should have had your back. But Terry didn't know all the facts. And I appreciate that these two women came together. Terry even went to confront Biz, okay? She was like, look, Biz, this is not the Biz, all right? And Britt came through and was like, hey, you know what? I'll get another nurse to do it. We got this and stuff. And it had Elizabeth, her little stank face, but she had to say thank you to Britt and to Terry, and it was a great moment. I actually love these two being partners as a co-chief of staff. I think it was a wonderful idea, and I think it's needed to balance Britt out and to really help her to rebuild these relationships. I think this is a really good pairing, and Terry does need a bigger role. I like Terry, so this is gonna work for me. I think that was wonderful. Okay, Jason and Carly and this wedding. Jax, look, Jax, my main thing with Jax is that you act like you don't know these people for years and years. He's still on Jason's balls, and it's like, man, come on. You know these people. You've known these people. You've been on the show longer than Britt, who has to tell you about Jason. And it's like, sir, you should be able to tell her more about Jason. What? Like, and as far as Jocelyn is concerned, I could understand if she was still a baby. First thing I thought of when he was talking about, oh, Carly's marriage to Jason's going to put her in danger. Carly's friendship with Jason has put Jocelyn in danger. Do you not remember when Franco came through and threatened Jocelyn? Wasn't Jocelyn taken from her bed and kidnapped or something like that because of Franco? That was when she was a small baby, and Jason was still able to protect her and return her home, or somebody was. I can't even remember. Was it Sean's? Well, somebody saved her. Anyways, now she's a woman going off into college. Jax, all you could do is sit your daughter down and tell her about the dangers of the world, okay? Because look, she could literally die in a car crash that had nothing to do with Jason or Carly at this point. Really, she could get into some trouble on campus at school. I'm just, Jax, it just seems as though he really has nothing else in his life to focus his attention on. So other than Jocelyn and being all up on Carly's butt about who she's about to marry, he has nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. I mean, he had his one night stand with Britt, but he needs something more constructive to do at this point, as far as story wise. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jarly wedding. So that's going forward. It'll be interesting because since Sunny is not dead, and I could really see Jason and Carly falling in love with one another. I mean, why not? I feel like they already do. It's just, you know, the whole Sunny thing and everything, but you know, how will that play out when Sunny is alive? Because this will make their marriage invalid, you know, once they overturn his death at some point. But we'll see how this goes. I'm glad Maxie's back to plan this thing. I think it's a very good distraction for her, who, of course, Maxie is the queen of planning a wedding, and I think it's great and fitting. We had let me see, I wrote notes. So we had Maxie first appear in Nixon Falls on her welcome home tour, and of course Nina freaked out. Honey, you can't stay here. I was like, is she gonna see Sunny? But I saw some man's shoes and I was like, no. I was like, that's Maxie, that's not Maxie. How could she be seeing Sunny? So, you know, Nina quickly ushered her behind out of there and dumped her on Brooklyn. Was like, hey, yeah, go back to Port Charles, but just control yourself, okay? It's to protect your daughter from Peter, who's out there. Because it's my understanding, of course, I did see those clips where Anna and Finn went down there and Elizabeth was telling Jason, and the body was gone. Peter was still alive. He must have just got knocked out temporarily, was bleeding, and just got up out that thing, okay? So as we can see, he is alive. And Peter, I have mixed feelings. I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. So when I thought he died, I think that absence of his lack of presence made me happy for a moment. And then plus, especially after all that Brooklyn and Maxie had to go through in order to, you know, get this plan in motion. So I was like, damn, you know, they're doing all of this in vain. You know, Maxie could have her baby back and this man is dead. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that that is not the case right now. And of course, since Peter is alive and everyone thinks that Peter took the baby and that the baby is missing, and Peter's like, wait a minute, I don't have the baby. What happened to the baby? Like, I want to know exactly what he's thinking, because he's must be following Maxie around to be like, okay, what did you do with my child? Okay, what are you doing with you? And Maxie better be careful, because it could be to the point that it, you know, that since she's betraying Peter by making him think that the baby is dead, that, you know, he could turn against her. You know what I'm saying? So be careful. He's a psychopath. But you know, I was like, woo, Peter's alive and it's about to get messy and Nixon Falls some more. Rest in peace, Lenny. I saw that. Nina, so first of all, Peter saw Sunny and he was like, when he said this is unfortunate, I was like, wait a minute, are you going to try to kill Sunny? So Sunny was like, who are you? So anyway, we got that out the way with him meeting Mr. Peter St. Clair, who went in, and Nina just dropped everything, honey. Just dropped it. I am very curious to see how this is going to play out between the two of them, because Nina is not going to be able to tell anyone that she saw Peter and that he's alive, because then Peter would tell everyone else that, hey, you know, Sunny's in Nixon Falls with Nina. I am sorry, but exposing Peter is worth it. Is worth it. Nina, girl, I don't even know what you're holding on to at this point. I really don't know what you're holding on to. Like, what is your end game with keeping the secret? I'm not really getting it, but like at this point, exposing Peter is worth it. Is worth it, okay? To have this secret of Sunny, because that's the only way at this point that she'd keep quiet, is not to have that exposed. So no. And that would be a major betrayal to Maxie at this point, for you to just not say anything. I can't, that's the only reason why. And I don't understand what is so important about holding on to Mike at this point, unless it's just a filler for how bad her life was prior to Nixon Falls. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I finally got over what happened with everything with Nell and, you know, Valentine and then Jax, and now I have this here, this little life here, and it's like, no. So I guess All right, last but certainly not least, in Monday's episode, Martin and Laura had to go into hiding after finding out that Cyrus, their dearly departed brother, who's in prison. I didn't do it right. But I love Martin's accent. They are, there's a hit out on their ass. I don't like hiding for how long? Y'all don't have any leads. Like, for how long? Oh my Lord, I don't know how that's gonna get resolved. But did Cyrus say he wanted anything in return instead of hiring a hit out on them? I don't know, but I think that is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But those are my thoughts on the show. I wanted to keep it short because I gotta get back. My break is over. But I hope you all enjoy my review and my thoughts and everything like that. I hope to get a bit deeper as I'm getting back into the show and whatnot. But you all have a great day. I hope to see you all very soon. Be safe out there, and I love you much. Okay, bye.